You know, I'm the dude. That's what they call me. You know that, or his dudeness, or Duda, or El Duderino. Welcome, Slotcar family, on another video on Slotcar Dude. Today is a very special video. Today, I've been invited by the Mille Miglia Museum to do a video here. The reason why is I'm staying in the area of Verona here for a few days on short notice holidays. And the area is very interesting because you have Milano with the Alfa Romeo Museum, you have also Modena with the Ferrari Museum or the Lamborghini Museum, and you have in the middle of it Brescia, which has the Mille Miglia Museum. Now, Brescia is also the start and finish line of the Mille Miglia since 1927. For those of you that are not familiar with this race, this used to be a pure road race, started in 1927, as you can see in the background, and the official race finished in 1957 after a very bad accident with a few casualties. That's when the official race was finished. Now it's only a touristic race, but imagine driving in the 30s, beginning of the 40s, and then again after the war 50s, doing a road race through Italy, starting in Brescia, going down to Rome and back again, 1,600, 1,700 kilometers an hour. No, not an hour, sorry, 1,600 kilometers. And they did it within 10 hours in the end on roads. Don't get me wrong, this is like a hell drive. There are so many stories and so many beautiful cars in this museum, but also that participated. There are a lot of stories, ongoing stories of drivers and what happened and incidents. One I really like the most is Heinz Hermann driving his Porsche 550 Spider, and they were nearly blocked at a train crossing because one of those old-fashioned roadblocks came down, and they just accelerated, ducked down and drove underneath it just before the train came, not to lose time, because again, this is a road race, or this used to be a road race, don't forget about it. A very big thank you to the museum for making this possible to me, for allowing me to film here, for doing this for all of you guys. There are quite a few cars that we all remember as slot cars, or would like to have a slot cars in there. So come join with me a tour on the Museum of the Mille Miglia. And one other thing I wanted to mention is this museum is also an archive, which means this is the official archive with all the original data, all the original papers from the Mille Miglia out of 1927 till today. Come with me. Let's have a look at the museum. Slotcar family, so today we are at the Museum of the Mille Miglia. This is right at the entrance. Join with me the walk and tour through the museum, including all the winners since 1927 till 1957. Of course, there was a break between the war, but the last official race was 1957. And here at the very entrance, you can also see all the cars, all the winning cars of the Mille Miglia. I'm really, really grateful, and thank you again for the museum to have me, to allow me to film here and to invite me to actually come here and do a video on the museum. I'm very, very grateful and thankful to be able to do that. And it's a real honor and a pleasure. So let's continue. Those were the golden days. And as you can see, there's a lot of history around. And we'll go for the museum round. So join me, come with me. So this is the first floor that we're going to. And already you can smell the old oil and petrol in here. Don't forget, this is an old monastery that was redone for the museum. Those four gentlemen are the reason why there is a Mille Miglia. They're called the four musketeers of the Mille Miglia, and they made it possible in 1927 to have this road race on the streets of Italy. And the very first car that won the Mille Miglia was a Lancia with an average speed of 77 kilometers per hour for the 1,600 kilometers. And the museum itself gives you a very good impression on the times when this took place. There are very many pictures and, of course, very many beautiful restored cars. As far as I would say, they're all operational, they're all drivable, and they will be driven when there is the official Mille Miglia tourist rally that is still going on today on the streets of Italy. Of course, not as a race, but just as a tourist race, so to say. Yeah, and let's continue down the hall. Again, the museum is a big archive as well, as you can see on the left, with some original papers and of course with all the documentations on all the races that took place, which roads were used, who participated, which cars, and there are a lot of beauties in this museum as well. For all the detail lovers, all the scale lovers, this is the place to go and find details that you haven't thought of to put in your slot cars or to add onto your scale models. And what was also very, very interesting is they even managed to have a few original films out of those days where you could see that the streets were just empty and just filled with people that wanted to see and watch the race. So let's continue down the hall. Empty roads, those were the days when racing on the roads was still possible. So what seems to be the case here is that they went or made this walkthrough according to the years that the race took place and tried to put in cars out of that year, of course. And what you can hear in the background is already television broadcastings from that time. And those cars just look stunning.
Fagioli su Aureli arriverà terzo assoluto, battendo alcuni tra i bolidi più quotati. Sono le ore più belle di Clint, che per poco ha lasciato a Bracco il comando.
And of course there are cars that all of us know, like the 356 Speedster from Porsche. And as you can see here quite well, it was a road race, don't forget. No racetrack, it's a road race of 1,000 miles, meaning 1,700 kilometers. From the area of Brescia, or not the area, the town of Brescia, down to Rome and back again. And yes, of course, as many of you have noticed, those are the cars of my interest at the moment. I just love those old race cars. And don't forget, most of the cars were driven with two people, so a driver and the navigator, because the 1,600 to 700 kilometers on public roads, you needed a navigator because there was no GPS in those days. And if you ever wondered how a flat tire was dealt with in those days, here you go. That's how you do it in the old days. This is a Bandini 450, one of my personal absolute favorite cars. I'd love to get my hand on one of those in 1 to 32, or even better, 1 to 24. There you go.
1 to 32, sorry, or 1 to 24. I'd love to build this car, and the details are just down to the minimum. It's a pure race car. All you need is there, but no fussing around. Nothing else that's not really needed. I just love this car. I'm just speechless. That's why you don't hear anything from me at the moment. All those vintage cars and all this history all in one place. Unbelievable. Now don't forget, this museum is also the official archive of the Mille Miglia, meaning all papers that were issued and were still available for this race are to be found here. So for everyone who wants to do research on the Mille Miglia, this is the place to go. And if you ask them and pay a little fee, you can get access to all the data that you're looking for. And again, don't forget this was a road race. So public roads were driven all the time. This race went on.
And yes, of course, not to be missed, the Alfa Romeo, or Alfa Romeo, of course. Beautiful cars. And also, I think this one is available in 1 to 32. Don't nail me down, but I think this is as a racine body available. Can't remember the producer at the moment, but yeah, I think this is available. And again, for all the scale detail lovers, there you go. I tried to catch as many details out of the original cars as possible for all of you who love to go into details and try and reproduce them for slot cars. So this is what it looks like, and those are the cars to come. Let's continue. A detail that caught my eye right away is this spare wheel, and of course the rims in those days were just unbelievable. And you ever thought of how they would actually true the rim to make it work better? That was a piece of art. It was a work of art to fix those wheels so that they would run perfectly round in those days.
And here you can see after the war, the race was held again, started again. You can see the routes, and you can also see the winners. Now this should ring a bell. This is the grandfather of the AC Cobra. Seems to be the winner from 51, including the average speed. Don't forget, public roads. We're talking about public roads here. And as you can see here, 1951, a Ferrari 251 in front of a Mercedes 300 SL. And the trip was done in shortly over 12 hours. Again, public roads. The pit stop was on the roadside, changing tires, fueling, everything was done on the roadside. Slotcar family, here we have something very special at the end of this walkthrough. This is a gentleman called Carlo Bonera, who was very early a Mercedes dealer here in northern Italy. And what he did is he collected, of course, Mercedes. to his own likes, for his own collection. And of course, he drove, yes, the Mille Miglia as well, with those cars, like this beauty here. I mean, can you believe it? This must be worth millions by now. This car looks like new, if you ask me. Not only this car, all of them look like new. So we're right next to the 300 SL. With nice little cotton seats. And the old-fashioned timing clocks.
And again, a lot of documents to be found here, original documents out of those days. That was the last winning car, a Ferrari 315 with an average speed of 152 kilometers per hour. Public roads again, don't forget. This is a fact that nearly kills me, you know, with those old cars, stunning, and a few of the old posters.
Maybe one more thing for the museum. You can see in the background there, that's a lift for the cars. That's how they take the cars out and in when they go and drive them. And this place used to be a monastery. It's a renovated monastery where the museum is in. And this is just a beautiful place, very nicely renovated, very interesting to see. A lot of details from the cars, the races, the companies, spare parts, anything you can think of. And it's outside of Brescia, and it's a really nice place. So whenever you get the chance and you're on holiday near Verona, Brescia, come here for a visit. A big thank you again to the secretary of this museum who made it possible, whom I was in touch with. And as always with Slotcar Dude, don't forget to press that like button, press that subscribe button if you want to see more. Yes, I will do more museums, car museums in the future. This is for sure. If you want to see more, press that cowbell, don't forget. And as always, Slotcar family, yes, one more time,
there is more to come. As this invitation got me absolutely red-handed, I didn't even have a camera with me, which means all I could use was my mobile phone, as I'm doing today, or as I'm doing now. Hope the quality is okay for you guys. I'll never travel without at least a mini camera again, promised, because again, I didn't expect this to happen. The request I made came during the travel, and I didn't expect to get a positive answer. I got it. Thank you very much for the museum again. Thank you very much, and stay tuned. There's more to come.